Good afternoon. This is Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. I'm on here trying to get myself straight as usual. There's like a 30-second delay between what I do live and then what shows up on my laptop. Okay, this might be good. Okay, that looks pretty good there. So, today I am just kind of waiting till it's 1 o'clock because that's when I said I would start. We got about 1 more minute. I'm very excited about this new series, A to Z Techniques. I used to do this many years ago when I first became a demonstrator and I had classes in order that I could have ideas for my class. So we did a new technique every month. And I started with A and went through Z. A few times I made it all the way to Z before we decided to do something else. So, again, I'm Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you're joining me, if you could just put a little note in the comments and say, I'm here, that would be great. And if you're watching the replay, let me know that too. I go back and look at any comments that come up. So, this is going to be our new series, Thursdays A to Z Techniques. And today is A, part 1, because I found 4 different techniques using acetate or our window sheets. And I kind of wanted to make these videos short. So, I'm just going to do 2 this week and 2 next week. So we'll have 2 weeks of A, and I'm not sure when we get to the other letters if I always have 2 weeks. I might only come up with a few techniques and can fit them into one class. We'll just see how it goes. But again, if you're here, just give me a comment and share my video. That would be great too. After I finish this live, I'm going to go ahead and download it and put it on YouTube. And my YouTube channel, of course, is Nana's Stanford Room, so you can check it out there too. And if you're watching me on YouTube, if you could hit that bell there to like and subscribe, that would be great. Because the more subscribers I get, the sooner I'll be able to do lives from YouTube. Okay, so we're going to start today. I kind of call this one acetate the floating card because it kind of makes it look like these circles are floating. But they're really just on top of the acetate. And I don't know if you can see, but we've actually embossed the acetate along with the circles. So let me show you how we did this. Okay, let me get out all my little pieces here. First, we started out with a regular card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. The first thing always is we flatten our card base. And then this is our card front, which is 5 1/4 by 4. It will fit just on here with a small frame around it. This is for the inside. These are our circles. You know, sometimes working with acetate or window sheets is hard because you lay it down somewhere and then you can't find it back because it's clear. So I've been trying to be very careful with this one. So my piece of acetate is 2 1/4 by 4. And what we're going to start doing first is I looked all over and I couldn't find my acrylic mat, because that's what you really need. Then that way you could put some glue on there and dab it on to the circles and stuff. But we're just going to try to do it here with my glass mat, because I can wipe the glue off with an alcohol pad when we're finished. So let's start. What I use to cut these out with is I use the deckled circles to make these biggest ones. And then I used I have a 1-inch punch, so that's what I cut these out in. Hopefully. And this paper I used is the Season of Elegance from Christmas, but I don't think this looks too much like a Christmas card. And I may have punched out too many. And then what I used to do the 1-inch circles is I did have a 1-inch punch. I used to have a bunch of circle punches, but I don't know what happened to them all. Perhaps over the years I've given them away. So instead I found, for these very small ones, the wheel on the punch that makes the truck. So I just punched out, so I'd say these are 1 inch and these are probably a 1/2 inch. So let's get started. We're just going to put some glue on here. And we want some of them to hang over the edge. And you have to try not to touch your acetate too much, because then you get fingerprints. I'm going to try to put some big ones on here first in different places. And you want to fill up maybe like the top 2/3 of your sheet here. So let's put in some of these now. And they can overlap. It's okay if they do. Let's see. I probably should have cut out some more 1-inch. Here's one. I try to cut out 2 of every size, and maybe more on the little ones, because they just make good fillers. And there's really no rhyme or reason to this part. You just put them on there how you think that they look good. Oh, let's see. Try not to put too many of the same color close together. That's what I always run into, the problem of having too many of one color left at the end. So I think we could put a small gold one here in the middle. No, that'll put 3 golden. Okay, we'll put this one down here. We really need one of these maybe in the middle. And where else do you think we might need one? And you don't have to use the gold or silver foil or anything. You could just use regular DSP too. I just thought this gold paper made it look kind of elegant. Okay, I think that's pretty good. We got pretty much of it filled in. And we have a few circles left over. You could put more if you want it or less. We'll save these for another time. Now what I want to do is, you noticed how some of them are hanging over. So I kind of have to let that glue dry just a little bit in order to put it through the embossing machine. So probably by the time I clean this up here from the glue. Now if you had your acrylic craft mat, you would just wipe it off too. I have no idea where I put mine. I haven't used it for a while. So it must really be put away somewhere good because I looked all over and couldn't find it. So to hurry this up a little bit, let me find a piece of scrap paper. And I'm just going to kind of wipe off some of that extra glue there so that we could go ahead and put it through. So the embossing folder that I picked was the cane weave. I'm pretty sure a woven cave, something like that. Cane, not cave. So we're going to put this in here and line it up. And I'm going to take it over and run it through the embossing machine. Okay. Oh, I still have a smear in the middle where the glue was. I'm getting another alcohol wipe because I could see a big smear right here in the middle. So we shall see if this helps. Hold on just one second. I have my cloth over here that I can wipe it with. This cloth is all stained and everything from ink. And now I move the whole glass mat. But I still look pretty straight. Okay, so now we have this. And we're going to add it to our other piece of DSP, which is also 2 1/4 by 4. Or 2 3/4 by 4. I looked at. And we're going to do this with dimensionals. That way it'll look like they're kind of floating. So I'm going to just add some dimensionals behind these. Then I need one up there. Okay, then we're going to take the backs off these. I didn't put one on every circle. I kind of just put them on most of them. Now I'm going to have to pick off the backings. This is the part that takes the longest, getting all the backings off the dimensionals. Okay. Then if you start at the bottom, it's probably easier because it's clear and you can see right through it. And I'm going to turn it over here so I can see better. So I'm going to try again. I'm going to start at the bottom. And I'm going to work my way up. So I must have cut this at 2 1/2 instead of 2 1/4. So let me just trim that off. There we go. Now this one, for some reason, wants to curl more than my other one did. So what I might have to do is just put like a little dot of glue here in the corner. Just to try to hold that down. I'm going to have to hold it a little till it dries. Well, see, I didn't have that problem at all with my other one. There we go. And if that kind of shows, I could put a embellishment gem over it. Then we're going to take this and we're going to add it to our card front. First, I wanted to put some ribbon around here. I almost forgot. I like to do that. Forget to put my ribbon on. Hi, Marianne. I'm glad that you're here. So, we're just going to kind of put this through the middle here. Have my scissors, my ribbon scissors with the beads on there from Gina. I'm going to turn this over. And somewhere here, I have tearing tape. This is such pretty peacock ribbon, isn't it? With a little gold in there that'll match our circles. I'm making a big mess here on my glass mat with the dimensional papers and now the tearing tape papers. The tearing tape always has static. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just I always have static. So we're going to take this. We're going to put this on here straight and we're going to come across. And we don't want to make it too tight so that it bends the paper. We're going to add some multi-purpose glue behind here. Now, isn't it great how you can see the embossing of the embossing folder on the window sheet and on your circles? I just think that looks so nice. So we're going to get this the right way. We're going to add this to the front. Although there's really no up and down direction on this paper. But we do not want this dimensional paper back there. Okay, and then we're going to put a little bit of adhesive on the top here and on the bottom, and kind of leave a little bit of a space for the ribbon to go through. And we're going to center this. Oh, I'm going to have to put a little drop of glue here on this corner too. I can't tell you why it's just when I embossed it, it must have caused it to curl. But I can't explain why it didn't on my sample. But I don't think anybody's going to notice this little dot of glue down here. We just have to hold it for a minute. And you could always put a greeting down there or add some embellishments over it. I have some gold embellishments here that I thought we could use. These are the festive pearls. So I am going to put one down here to kind of hide that glue. And then maybe make another one up here. And a third one down here. And then on the inside, I would glue this to the bottom. And you would have your inside to match your outside. So this is technique number 1, using the acetate paper. The next one is very much faster than this first one. I never really saw the embossing of the acetate along with the DSP that was glued to the top. I never saw that technique before until I started looking through some videos, and it was Lisa Curcio who had a video about that. So this is going to be our next one, and I can't really decide. Oops, I got the piece of window sheet on. I can't really decide what to call this one. Maybe like floating middle or something. It's where the middle of the card is the acetate, so it kind of looks like these words are floating. And then the only thing about this one is you only have this much room at the top and this much room at the bottom to sign. But if you had more of a message, you could put another white on the back. So let's get started with this one. So first we have our paper. This time I'm going to use Melon Mambo. And I'm going to cut it at, let me just check my notes here, at 4 1/4 by 7. So I'm going to put my paper in long ways and go over to 4 1/4. And then I need this arm out so I can see the 7. And I am going to score at 1 1/2. Not cut, score. And now I'll need this bottom piece. So we're just going to go ahead and cut it now off of what we cut off. And it's just going to be 4 1/4 by 1 1/2. We're going to get out our bone folder. And we're going to crease our card base. Sometimes I like to do it, fold it this way and do it too, just to get it to lay down correctly. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is take our window sheet, which is cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And we're going to put some adhesive up here. We're going to lay this right. This should be as wide and as long as the card is. And you want to put some adhesive up here. And then we're going to close it. I put an order in yesterday for my pre-order from the May online exclusives and the new catalog. So I can't wait for that to come in because that we'll unbox it and look at it all. Now we're going to take this piece. We're going to put some glue on it and we're going to line it up with the bottom of the card. Well, I must have cut this piece the wrong way. Okay. Because it wasn't long enough. When I put it in the cutter, I must have shifted which way was the 4 1/4, or the 4 1/4. So we'll just try again. Put some glue on there. Now this will be the exact same length as the card. So you just line it up at the bottom. And there you go. And then I have some, I'm going to move this, otherwise I'll end up sticking my hand in it. I have some DSP. This is the Simply Zinnia paper. And it is cut. Wow, I did not do good at cutting at all today. This should be 1 1/4 by 4. So let's just see what happened. Have you ever just had one of those days? 1 1/4 by 4. We'll get it right here. Probably when I look down at my measurements. No, I'm sorry. This should be by, 4 1/4. Okay. Let's try again now. That's why it's a good idea before you put something down, you should pre-measure it sort of to see if it fits. So there we go. This piece is good. And this piece should be good also. Yeah. Okay, now here in the middle, you could cut out one of the zinnias and put it in the middle, or you could stamp a greeting. But I'm going to do the same like I did for this when I used the wanted to say dies. And I cut this out and celebrate, and I made it be a sticker using our adhesive sheet so that I didn't have to worry about using glue with the acetate paper, because if you even smear it a little bit, it will leave a glob. And these are very small letters. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it where you can see it because I'm trying to line them up. And the closer I have them to me. So now this is a bigger surface. I could have made this into a sticker too, but it's a bigger surface, so I'm not as likely to smear my glue if I can get little dots over here on the C. And we're just going to kind of put celebrate like that. And then I'm going to take this piece of white, because I don't have another piece out here right now, and put it in here. Like I said, you're only going to be able to write up here and down here, but if you wanted a longer message, you could always do it on the back. So I'm not going to add any of the paper to the bottom of this or decorate it at all, because that's just using up room where you can write your message. So this is technique number 2, using acetate. I hope that you enjoyed today's class, and I'm going to start making PDFs for these so that you could have like a folder. You could print them out and put them in a folder, or just put them in a file on your computer so you can have them for future reference. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.